Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. We just got the final reveals for Photon Hypernova, including some of the OCG imports, such as Green Ninja, as well as some of the OCG imports, or as well as the TCG exclusive cards, which includes a really interesting card like this guy, Diabolantis, the Menacing Mantis. He looks crazy, he rhymes, and he's actually pretty dang good when you read his effects. So we're going to do a quick read over of him, and then we're going to be talking about all the cards that he might apply to, because he does do something in particular that, a handful of cards and decks are going to have some really cool synergy with. So let's get into it. Starting off, this is, of course, Diabolantis, the Menacing Mantis. He is a Dark Insect level 8 Synchro monster. He has 2,500 attack, 2,200 defense. Nothing crazy on the stats for a Synchro 8. And he is completely generic as a rank 8, or a Synchro 8. Any tuner, any non-tuner. That is awesome. And now let's get into the nitty-gritty. If this card is Synchro summoned, you can send insect and or plant monsters from your deck to the graveyard up to the number of non-tuners used for its Synchro summon. So minimum 1, but potentially more. If you control the Synchro summon card, you can target an insect or plant you control. It is treated as a tuner until the end of the turn. That's pretty cool. I like that you don't have to give up anything to change something into a tuner. Should you want to, which is pretty cool. And also he's level 8, so like if he sends something that's going to revive itself but it's not a tuner, he could then just change it into a tuner immediately, and he's already a level 8 plus whatever you just got on field. Pretty cool. That could actually work out pretty nicely. So long story short, the biggest effect here is being able to foolish any insect or plant. Just like most types in the game, there are a handful of monsters that generically just want to be sent to grave, and this card does a good job of that. Also, the fact that it's generic means any potential generic engine that just gets you into a Synchro 8, I mean, I think of like the new Super Heavy Samurai engine just makes an 8 while also getting like Pendulum Scales and a rank 4, I believe. Right, stuff like Punk gets you to very easy Synchro 8s. There's going to be some really cool applications there as well. So let's get into it. Let's start talking about some of these important targets here. First and foremost, we have Fengli, the Soldier Palm. Really interesting card. It's kind of just, it's a little glow bulbish. If this card is sent from deck to grave by a monster effect, so a little bit more specific, but when it is, you can special summon this card. Then if you control another plant monster, you can have the attack and defense of one monster on the field. That doesn't usually matter, but just basically send him from deck, summon him back. Cool. He's already a level 1 plant tuner, so that means him plus just the Mantis would already be a Synchro 9. But of course, if there's other stuff on the field, you can apply him separately. So pretty simple. Gets you out a level 1 tuner. Glow Bulb, same thing. And I know this one's banned, but there's a strong argument that there should be no powerful tuners left on the ban list because Hulk is now banned. But whatever, Glow Bulb's still a card to mention here for sure. Spore, kind of another one, but you have to have another plant in grave, so maybe a plant strategy that can make a Synchro 8 would work out, because you'd already have a plant in grave, then you could revive him, modify his level, and then make another Synchro from there. Could be pretty cool. Stasia Marine still kind of applies, but it does get you a guaranteed plant in grave, so send this card, send Spore, and then Spore would already have a card to banish to just get itself back, or still send Fengli, but maybe, depending on a certain combo you're doing, this card being engraved could be pretty important there as well. Then we move into some other stuff. Predaplant Biblis. This card just says if it's sent to graveyard generically, you can add a Predaplant monster. So now this Synchro just adds any Predaplant monster, so could get you into some fusion plays by searching some of the new like Pendulum fusion monsters, which is very cool. Pendulum like fusion spell monsters essentially. Rose Girl's another interesting card. She just says if she's in grave and you control a plant, she can just add herself back to hand. Whatever, gives you hand advantage. Specific combos could make use of that effect. I don't know. And then World Caraway Champion, he can return a plant you control. He swaps with it. If he's in grave and you can send a plant from hand or field to the graveyard to summon himself back. I don't know if he's going to be worth, but, he's there, so whatever. Now we get into some more interesting ones. Naturia Mole Cricket. This kicks off our insect targets here. This card is amazing in grave anyway, because it just says if your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck, or you special summon a Naturia from extra deck, while it's in grave, it summons himself back. So that means as soon as your opponent special summons from extra, this guy comes out, and then that makes his other effect live, where he can tribute himself to special summon 2 Naturias straight from deck, assuming your opponent has the highest attack monster on the field, which is very possible. So really, really insane card. Kind of just gets you access to him even if you didn't open him. So I'm thinking, like, is there a world where like Naturia gets combined with another semi-generic strategy that makes Synchro 8s pretty easily, so that way you can just kind of get Mole Cricket in rotation that way while you're just doing another, starting another engine. That could be really cool. So definitely, I could see this one maybe having an interesting development down the line. Of course, you have the basic insects, Gokipole and Resonance Insect, the kings of Bee Trooper, or just the Insect Good Stuff deck from a couple years ago. Gokipole, when it's sent to grave, adds any level 4 insect from deck to hand, which is very cool. You can also technically summon a Vanilla if you wanted as well, which also works out pretty nicely. So that means even if you use your normal summon, you could summon out like a Vanilla 4 and then change the Vanilla 4 to a tuner and make a Synchro 12 play, which is kind of funny. You could make like the Math Mech Towers guy. That'd be funny. But yeah, most of the time you're either adding Resonance or sending Resonance to grave, because when it's banished, it's going to Foolish any insect, and when it's sent from field to grave, it's going to add a level 5 or higher insect from deck to hand. So very, very cool applications there. I could definitely see those potentially coming up, especially since he is an insect and sends an insect. Plus, there's a couple of insect cards that are already tuners that are pretty interesting. Like a while ago, we got Dragon Bite. It's like a level 4 insect tuner. It like pulls another insect out of the hand. So that card itself could just, with another level 4 in hand with like Resonance, could already be like a pretty nasty combo with Dragon Bite. That could be pretty cool. And I think the last one we're going to talk about here today is Therian Lily Borea. And I think this is the one where I saw somebody comment when I did a review of all the new cards, saying that this was the most interesting thing about this new card, the Mantis, is Therians plus Punk. I already mentioned Punk at the beginning of the video, alongside of stuff like the Super Heavy Samurai engine, as generic engines that can get you into a Synchro 8 play. We saw at the beginning when Therians first came out, we saw a couple of decks actually trying to splash the Therian stuff, and they saw a lot more play prior to Pote. Pote kind of power crept a lot of the game. But if we get a big ban list and like we get this card to this deck, it means the Punk stuff can get you to an 8, and instead of making Chaotic Ruler, you now would be able to make this guy instead, who could send Lily Borea, meaning that any other Therian card in hand is going to get you a search for any Therian, pretty much, because, all the Therians, the way they work is when they equip a Therian, they gain the effects of that Therian. So you would gain the search effect of Borea, then be able to search any other Therian card, and therefore transfer your Punk engine into your Therian engine pretty seamlessly, which is very, very cool. So I'd be curious to see, especially if a ban list comes, to see if like this could actually be a thing again, because Therians have fallen off the face of the earth since Power of the Elements. They really just have not been able to keep up with the power of what Sprite and Tier have brought to the game, but still, I think it's pretty cool. I still think Therians is a viable engine. A lot of the big questions with them is they don't have a lot of starters, so they have to fit pretty well synergistically with like some of the archetypes they're being paired with. So yeah, that's a really cool one. Really cool card overall, honestly. I'm surprised they made it so generic, like didn't require like a plant or insect material in here anywhere. So it's cool. It's a cool card. I think this will come up at some point down the line. It could be Insect Good Stuff. It could be Naturia. It could be Punk Therion. I think there's some really good open space here. Maybe it's a plant deck as well. I know we talked about a good amount of plant stuff. We'll have to see, though. Very cool card, though. Just wanted to go through and talk about more of the just open options there, instead of just saying, oh, that sends any one of those. That could be something. I want to actually show you exactly what he can end up sending. But very cool card. I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below. Which one of these options do you think stands out to you as like the most viable potentially as a home for this card? Or is there anything I missed that you think is like a pretty cool synergy / maybe you already know a combo sequence or something that's really important that could make this card matter in another way? Please let me know in the comment section down below on that. But I am out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, stay tuned for more discussion videos. Photon Hypernovas are right around the corner. So I should have a lot of deck profiles coming. I've kind of been waiting on this one for a minute. But I think post Photon Hypernova, I'm going to get back on the horse with that stuff and building a lot of decks and stuff. So I can't wait. I'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching. Peace.